Welcome back to What You'll Learn. My name is Adam Ashton.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Adam Jones. Today we're reviewing Mini Habits, Smaller Habits, Big Results by Stephen. How do you pronounce his surname? Stephen Guise? Guise?
I think it's Guise. Guise.
Yeah.
I think it's, I don't know. Not sure, honestly. But yeah, Mini Habits, Smaller Habits, Big Results. Pretty short book, pretty thin book, 100 pages or so.
Yep.
But I really liked it.
Yeah,
Makes
very quick read, and yeah, definitely makes a lot of sense. And I don't know, I've just started a mini habit myself, and I think it's something that's very easy to stick to. So
nice.
Yeah, hopefully we unpack it in a way that the listeners actually take something up after this episode.
Yeah, do a mini habit at the end of this for sure.
Yeah.
By way of definition, a mini habit is simply a small positive behaviour you force yourself to do every day.
Yeah.
And he says it's stupid small, just ridiculously small. So don't say, I want to do 20 push-ups every day. Just say, I want to do one push-up.
Yeah. So it's, too small to fail. Like, if you only have to do one push-up, you'll never, ever really fuck that up.
You can't
fuck that up.
If you are too busy to do one push-up at one point throughout the day,
yeah,
there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, so that's the idea. And then when you build a string of one push-ups or whatever, then you form the habit.
Yeah.
So I think there's a quote somewhere in the book that by Tony Robbins, we are what we do repeatedly, or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds pretty much spot on. No, spot on, I reckon.
Yeah, bang on.
And yeah, so he says the problem with people, if there's something that you want to change, the problem isn't with people. There's nothing wrong with you, it's the strategy.
Yep.
So he reckons this is a much better strategy than trying to just go whatever other strategy you're using to change your habit. He says the only drawback is it's only for adding a new positive behaviour. It's not for removing a negative one.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah.
So he says to make changes, you need to stop fighting with your brain. So the whole book just talks about why mini habits are good for your brain, and you're not fighting against your brain, because when you're doing that, you have to use high amounts of willpower, which we'll get into, and that's when you fuck up all your your chances at making habits.
Yeah, definitely. Mate, Lao Tzu said the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. Yeah,
that's right. So that's the part one, which is the introduction to mini habits. Yeah. So he says big intentions are worthless if they don't bring about results. Intention without action actually harms your self-confidence. Yeah. So if you've got these big goals or whatever, and big ideas to make big changes in your life, and you actually do nothing about it, you're better off without that intention in the first place, almost. Yeah,
exactly. You might be like, you know what, I'm going to get fit, so I'm going to do 200 push-ups today. But that big intention does not lead to the big result of 200 push-ups. And as you said, if you end up doing 100 push-ups, you failed at your goal, even though 100 push-ups is a lot better than what you did the day before.
That's right. Another point, people overestimate their self-control ability. Mm-hmm. And another point is doing a little bit is infinitely bigger and better than doing nothing. Yeah,
and to follow on from that, doing a little bit every day is better than doing a lot one day.
Yeah.
So it's better to do one push-up 10 days in a row than 10 push-ups in one day and 0 the rest.
Yeah, that's right. So he says the statistics show that New Year's resolutions are, you're destined to fail. If you look around, there's so many people coming out with these big ideas after New Year's Day. So he says from the book, join the very few who actually take on lasting change.
Very nice. We'll talk a little bit about resistance later, but he says that another benefit of the mini habit is that the resistance is not stronger than your willpower, because all you have to do is do one thing. It might be read 2 pages of a book, or it might be write 50 words. Yep. It's such a small task that it takes a little bit of willpower to start, but it's not greater than the resistance you're facing.
Yeah. So should we talk about what a few examples of mini habits?
Definitely.
So
if you go to minihabits.com, there's a big list of them, but pull out a few.
Yeah, that's right. So there's so one that I've taken on is writing 50 words daily.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the listeners...
How much is 50 words? Like 2-3 sentences?
It's not much.
Yeah.
So last night, for example, I got home at 9:30, and normally I wouldn't. Writing would be the very last thing I'd do, but because it was only 50 words, I was like, oh fuck it, it's fine. It's only 50 words, and it took me 5 minutes to do.
Yeah.
And then I literally closed it, and then
you achieved your goal for the day.
Achieved my goal, and then 2 days before that, I wrote about 500 words. So
yeah, that's it. So that's interesting. He talks about those bonus reps. He says that you can, obviously, you just have to achieve that minimum goal. But once you've achieved that, if you want to keep going, keep going. But if you want to stop, you've already achieved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this might be, it might turn into something like eating healthier foods, waking up earlier.
So it might be, say, read, or when you wake up, drink 1 glass of water, or eat 1 piece of fruit, or what else? Wake up 10 minutes earlier to read 2 pages of a book or something.
Yeah, just stupid easy things.
Yeah.
Part 2 of the book is how your brain works. He says repetition is the language of your subconscious brain.
Yep.
So there's a lot of books that cover that pretty well. So your subconscious brain is actually the thing running the show. So you want your subconscious brain to be in line with what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And mini habits and repetition is the way of getting through your subconscious brain.
For sure. He says 45% of our behaviour is habit. And that's because it's a lot easier and more energy efficient for our brain to tell us to do the same thing we've always done, rather than to weigh up all the options and make a decision, make an assessment between all those.
Yep. So there's 2 parts of the brain he talks about. So first is the basal ganglia, and he talks about the prefrontal cortex. But the basal ganglia is the part of the brain that repeats patterns unless told otherwise. So the basal ganglia is the thing that helps you keep habits, and there's a study that showed people who got their basal ganglia fucked up, for a better word, lost a lot of their habits and their ability to recognise patterns. Whereas the prefrontal cortex is really the manager of the ship, so that helps you choose your habits. So you need your prefrontal cortex to choose the habits you want to bring in your life, and the basal ganglia is the thing that delivers it. Yeah,
nice. I like that. Mate, I've got it on page 28 here. I didn't understand it. You said it's something about a joke. I didn't know what the joke was. It says repetition is the language of the subconscious brain. If you repeat it, you won't forget it. And you said that's the first and last brain joke. Did I miss something?
I don't get it. Should we ask him?
Well, ask him. If you repeat it, you won't forget it.
If anyone's heard that joke before or thinks it's a joke, I don't know.
I've missed it.
I think it's a typo.
Repetition is the language of the subconscious.
It's a shocking joke if it is. Anyway.
Oh, sorry, mate. I've missed it.
I've
missed the joke.
I don't know. You go down a vortex trying to get that joke, I think.
That's it. And so, as you were talking about the basal ganglia and the prefrontal cortex, it takes time to build these habits. And habits are not easily accessible. You can't just create or destroy one when you want. It's that repetition over time that can solidify the habits.
Yep. Part 3 is motivation versus willpower. So he starts the chapter with a quote from the great Jim Rohn: emotions will either serve or master depending on who is in charge.
Yeah.
So I really like this chapter. He shows
for sure.
He shows a graph of motivation versus willpower.
Yeah.
And when you have no motivation, you need a lot of willpower, or when you've got a lot of motivation, you don't need willpower. So on the surface, that might look like a good thing. Motivation is a good thing, which it can be, but what Stephen talks about is it's completely unreliable. You can never rely on motivation to get things done.
Yeah, and that's because motivation is based on feelings and mood and emotions. It's volatile. You can't trust it. You might have it one time and not have it another time. So, as you say, it's unreliable.
Yep.
You can't just use motivation. So I'm going to motivate myself to do it.
So where willpower is limited, so we'll go into it in a bit later. Your willpower is limited throughout the day. You might have fatigue of your willpower, but where the Trojan horse of mini habits is that it's such a stupid, small, little task, and getting started takes the most willpower.
Yep.
Then the task is so small, it's such a small amount of willpower, and it takes no motivation.
Yeah, exactly.
So that is why you'll keep repeating this task and build habits around it.
Yeah, such a small amount of willpower. As you said, willpower, you start with, I guess, a certain amount of willpower throughout the day, and it gets depleted through effort, perceived difficulty, the negative effects, subjective fatigue, and blood glucose level all affect willpower.
Yep.
So if you think, I'm probably skipping ahead a little bit, but yeah, so those things all deplete your willpower. And there's a book called The Paradox of Choice, which we've probably mentioned before, but we haven't done yet. It's something worth doing, which is all about the decision fatigue and fatigue of willpower, ego, depletion. Yeah.
He says that the act of forming the habit is curiously emotionless, and that lack of enthusiasm is actually a positive sign.
Yeah, for sure. let's get into part 4, the strategy of mini habits, and those willpower things I was talking about. Effort, perceived difficulty, negative effect, subjective fatigue, and blood glucose levels. So the effort that you think it takes is going to reduce your willpower. If you think it's a high amount of effort is required, then your willpower will be diminished. But because it's so easy, you're saying that counteracts that. Like it's one push-up or read 2 pages. The effort is so minimal that it doesn't matter.
Next was perceived difficulty. So that is a big drainer on your willpower, but because it's easy and the hardest part is getting started, and it has very little effect on your willpower also. Yeah,
subjective fatigue. He says that, yes, you might be tired, you might have had a long day, and there's always going to be some amount of subjective fatigue. You can't eliminate that, but at the end of the day, again, it's so simple that fucking suck it up.
And blood glucose levels, mini habits, he says, is the best chance at taking action. You can, if you get home like I did last night without having dinner or anything like that, it's just so easy. You just smash it out and then that's it.
Man, I just realised I missed one. I skipped that. That was my fault. Negative effect. So he says that like if you think something is going to have a negative effect, then you won't do it. But obviously because you're adding a positive behaviour, that counteracts that. Yeah,
love it. He says that mini habits expand your comfort zone.
Yep.
So he says your better version of yourself is just outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And he thinks that, he talks about the analogy of a cat in the snow.
Yep.
So
he says it was two. So it's sort of like you've got your comfort zone, and one option to improve yourself is to just sprint outside the comfort zone and try and get to that new self. But then you're going to run back in because it's too far out. Whereas a mini habit, you take one step out each time and come back. And so it gradually expands it. So the cat he wanted to see if the cat liked the snow.
Yeah, so he got the cat. So he picked up his cat. He really did this. No, I hope not. And he just launched his cat into the middle of the snow. And then the cat because cats don't really like water, as we know. So the cat kind of shat itself and then sprinted back to safety where the house was. So, but then later they put the cat and just on the edge of the snow, and what the cat kind of did, he got curious, kind of edged on the snow and then started slowly walking out into the middle. So yeah, it's a good analogy for how if you try to go too far out of your comfort zone, you might go running back for safety. Whereas mini habits is taking small steps outside every day kind of thing.
Love it. That's a good example, good analogy.
Yeah, he says smart willpower management is the key to personal development, as smart money management is the key to financial success.
Yeah, that's awesome. The worst case scenario of adding a mini habit is that you don't do those bonus reps. The worst case scenario is every day you do the bare minimum, and that's still a win. But he says that the benefit is that using Newton's laws of physics, first law, an object at rest will stay at rest unless acted on by an external force, and an object in motion will not change its velocity unless an external force acts upon it. So it's saying that when you're sitting on the couch, it's hard for you to get that motion to get on the floor and do one push-up. But he's saying once you're already down there, you've done the hardest part. You're in the position, you've already done one, you're ready to go. So if you want to do 2 or 3 more, do 2 or 3 more. If you think you want to do 10 more, keep going. Yeah. But the hardest part is getting off the couch, going from rest to in motion.
Yeah, 100%. And Newton knows his shit. Part 5.
Man, I just saw on a Facebook, man, apparently he was a virgin, died a virgin.
No fucking way.
Poor bloke.
Nah.
But he was a genius.
He was a closet.
Oh, was he?
Oh, well, you can't go through your whole life without...
Mate, he was dedicated to science and shit.
Jesus.
Resistance? Those are cat in the those are where the cat in the snow. But so there's two moments of resistance. So there's resistance before you take action, and there's resistance to do more. So as we said, the resistance before you take action is because you're at rest, and then the resistance to do more is because once you're in it, you might not want to do more. But again, he says once you've done it, if you achieve your goal, that's good.
Yep. Part 5 of the book is the mini habits difference.
Yep.
It starts with a quote from Lao Tzu, which is
Sun Tzu.
Sun Tzu.
Yeah. Lao Tzu was the previous one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're all got similar names. These old fucking Chinese martial artists. Victorious warriors win first and then go to war, while defeated warriors go to war first and then seek to win.
Nice.
So he's just talking here about the importance of having your wins early, your constant wins, and then go maybe not go to war, but
yeah, fucking go to war.
Yeah, fucking go to war. So he says mini habits are a self-efficacy generating machine. You can get started with pretty much zero self-efficacy.
Yeah, and you build it as you go. And self-efficacy is your belief that you can influence an outcome. So maybe at the start you think you can't do anything, you can't change anything, but once you start doing these mini habits, your self-efficacy will grow and grow, and then you realise that you do have the power.
Yeah, so if you're using a calendar system or something like that for your mini habit, and you look at the wall and you got 35 crosses on it, then you start feeling pretty confident in yourself to be able to do things and have control on the habits you put into your life.
Yeah, spot on.
Part 6 is 8 small steps to big change.
Starts with a sick quote by Roger Van Ook. I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Or if the pronunciation is anywhere near. But he says, if you don't execute your ideas, they die. Now, this is one that's come up a fair bit in a lot of the recent books we've been talking about, in that once you get that idea and that inspiration, fucking go for it then and there. Do it then and there, otherwise it's going to die.
Yeah, inspiration is perishable.
Yeah, love it.
Step 1 of the 8, choose your mini habits and habit plans. So get your prefrontal cortex in on this one, and consciously choose what you want to bring into your life. And because we are the habits, we are pretty much all our habits. So if you've got a bunch of good habits in your day, then you're more likely to get to where you want to go.
Yeah, nice. And he talks about the plan. You can either pick one mini habit and just do that, or you can have multiple. But he says don't do more than 4. So you can have between 1 and 4. Don't go more than 4, or you just get overwhelmed.
Yep.
And there's 2 ways. I think this is this section. There's 2 times you can do it. You can either use an activity to prompt you to do it, or you can use a time to prompt you to do it.
Yep.
So it might be as soon as you finish eating breakfast, you do 1 push-up, something that's regular every day. Or if you've got a pretty structured day, it might be at 3 p.m. every day, you stand up from your desk and go for a walk around the block or something.
Love it. Step 2 was use your why drill on each mini habit.
Yeah.
So understand your why you want them, why you want to bring these things in your life.
And he says drill down with those whys. So it might be, again, I should get the proper example here, but he says keep asking why until you get to that deeper reason. I've lost it. But yeah, so it might be like, I want to do 1 push-up. Why? Because I want to be fitter. Why? Because I'm not happy with the way I look. Why? Because I can't pick up chicks. Why? Because I'll die alone. Like does that make sense? That's just me speaking.
That sounds from the heart, mate. Yeah, kind of felt that one there.
But yeah, so keep drilling down
Yeah.
From those surface levels to that deeper reason.
Step 3 was define your habit cues, which you've eloquently already...
Yeah.
So habit cues, when you want to do it. Do you want to do it after an activity or at a certain time or just whenever the fuck you want?
Yeah.
Step 4, create your reward plan. Pretty much anything that delivers a reward to the brain is addictive. So you want these addictive behaviours after your mini habit. So you might be eating your little, your Magnum Ego every day. You might as well have that after you do your mini habit. So reward yourself. It doesn't have to be bad for your health, but he says reward yourself for completing your mini habits.
Yeah, I was just speaking to an author. She said she has gummy bears, and so whenever she finishes her task, she gets 1 gummy bear. So she was
gummy bear.
Yeah.
But you just feel like more.
That's what, mate, I'm surprised she only does 1. But yeah, so that's her reward after doing her habit.
Yeah, good on her. Step 5 is write everything down. So this can be, as we mentioned before, you can use a big calendar.
Yeah.
But you basically just want to track your habit. And he's got some digital apps for this. One called Lift for iOS, which I downloaded after reading this, and it's a pretty handy app. And
the one for Android is called Habit Streak Plan. He recommends. I think they're both free.
They're pretty good because they can just remind you at 8 p.m. every night of the habit, and then when it's if it's something as small as 1 push up or something, you go, fuck. You could be in the middle of the movie cinemas and just do 1 push up. You got no excuse.
No excuse.
Yeah.
I like that. And the thing is, if you've got either a physical where you're crossing it off or a digital where you can see the streak, you want to keep that streak going. If you've done 60 days in a row, you don't want to fucking miss it and start from 1 again. You want to keep it going.
Yeah, definitely. Step 6 is think small. So make sure it's all small.
Yep.
Step 7, meet your schedule and drop high expectations.
Yep.
Step 8, watch signs of habit, but be careful not to jump the gun.
Yeah, so he's saying that once you've been doing this over and over, and it might 2-3 months later, you might feel like it is a habit, and it feels weird not to do it. But so once it becomes a habit, you don't have to track it anymore. But he's saying be careful though.
Yep.
Make sure it is fully ingrained first.
Yep. Phenomenal. Part 7, 8 mini habit rules. We'll just fly through this.
Never cheat.
Never cheat. So you might. He says you might secretly. You might have a mini habit, but secretly you haven't only 50 words, but secretly you want 1,000 words per day.
Yeah.
You got to let yourself have 50 words, or you got to let yourself do 1 push-up, and that's enough. And you might just have 7 days of 1 push-up.
Yeah.
But then after a while, because you got the habit, it might turn into something much bigger than that.
Yeah, exactly. Rule 2: be happy with all progress.
Yep.
Rule 3: reward yourself often, especially after a mini habit.
Yep. Rule 4: stay level-headed. Rule 5: if you feel resistance, go smaller. So if there's any amount of difficulty or extra willpower, just go smaller, make it easier.
If you say, I want to read 2 pages of a book, and you think, fuck me, 2 pages is so much, just read 1 paragraph. Yeah.
And step 6: remind yourself how easy.
Yeah, it is easy.
Then here it talks this is where I was sold on mini habits, because whoever mentioned my favourite book of all time, or top 2, Alan Carr, The Easy Way to Stop Smoking, then I fucking love the book. So
he won you over there.
I don't know if I've mentioned this in a previous podcast, but this book is an absolute joke, Alan Carr. So it takes smokers from thinking that they can't quit, and then you read the book, and then all of a sudden you quit smoking at the click of a fingers. It makes quitting smoking that easy. It's an absolute joke. I don't know how it works still. But he says mini habits is like that. So what Alan Carr does in his book, it's just constant repetition that smoking is easy, quitting smoking is easy, quitting smoking is easy. And then by the end of the book, you actually believe that, and then you just, day one, it's a piece of piss.
Yeah.
So mini habits, the same kind of thing. If you keep doing your habit and it's easy, like 50 words a day, you'll start believing that writing is easy, is easy, 50 words is easy. And then after a while, it's that is also a piece of piss, your new habit. Yeah,
that's it. And you're like, well, I'm writing every day, so it must be easy. Yeah. Yeah, very nice.
Cool stuff, man. You got any more on the book?
Rule 7, never think a step is too small. Rule 8, put extra energy and ambition towards bonus reps, not a bigger requirement. So he's saying that if you feel like you want to step it up, keep your goal as 1 push-up, but maybe put the extra energy at the time to going for 3 or going for 5. But don't set 3 or 5 as your new minimum.
Yeah,
I think that's it.
Cool, man. Fucking
mini habits. Book. So what's your mini habit, mate? Writing 50 words a day for now?
I'm doing writing 50 words a day, and mate, I'm completely sold on this mini habit idea.
Yeah.
Absolutely sold on it.
It is good.
I really think it is.
The only thing is I want to pick 20 and do 20. I need to find 3 or 4.
But yeah, as long as you're choosing something in your life, and we kind of challenged our listeners at the start, if you like the book, buy it. But more importantly, if you just install 1 mini habit after listening to this, then that's probably even better.
Yeah, spot on.
And love it. So, man, are we going to sing the song of the habit?
The habit song?
The habit song.
Mini habits.
That's right, motherfucker. AJ rapping here.
Smaller habits, bigger results, Stephen Guise.
Introduction to the mini habits. What you gonna do when you're gonna fuck you?
Make a small positive behavior change and force yourself to do it every day.
Do a little bit, motherfucking little bit. That's it, gotta rub that.
Don't do 100 push-ups, just do 1, fucking pussy.
Just do 1, build on your muscle. Build on your muscle, grab the Glock and shoot at the people.
It's 8 steps through big change. Choose your mini habit, drill down on the why. Cue those habits, define your rewards. Write everything down, think small, make your schedule, and watch out for signs of a habit.